one and all. Today we are going to discuss about the next talk that would be related to forecasting techniques. So basically we have discussed so far what are the renewable energy sources are available and how we can employ the machine learning particularly for sustainable development. So in this uh, talk, we'll see how we are going to utilize that same models and same machine learning part also with respect to forecasting uh, with respect to predictions. So forecasting means we are going to just predict the informations with the help of some historical data. Okay, so the prediction part also would be there, but in that two cases we are going to see how we can deploy the various methods in terms of machine learning, in terms of deep learning, and we can get it the informations related to renewable energy resources. So according to the talk, we are going to discuss about how time series data we can utilize for forecasting models for especially for solar and wind power. So we have solar and wind powers are there. These are the renewable energy resources is available. So we can utilize this data. Particularly, we have to develop the forecasting model. Also, we have various probabilistic based model. So probability theory will be utilized. Probabilistic forecasting methods, especially for in energy management. So also we are going to see implementation various forecasting algorithm. So in our practical part, we have discussed about how we can utilize Python are also one of the language. We can use forecasting algorithm using Python and other languages either R or some different languages also available. And also we'll see at the end future trends and challenges. So according to the talk, how we can just utilize the particularly importance for forecasting in terms of renewable energy resources. So far we have seen we have multiple resources are available like solar energy, wind energy. So efficient energy distribution is very important and we are going to provide the power with respect to grid. So grid stability also one of the important aspect for us. So accurate forecasting is allows energy providers to predict how much energy will require. That means how much energy we need to generate, how much energy we need to transmit and it will be utilized. So whatever the energy is available, but we have to predict with respect to various mathematical model or various machine learning or deep learning based techniques. So how much energy will be available at particular given time and how much energy is required to generate. So with respect to future data or with respect to future aspects, we are going to analyze that. So we are going to ensure that energy supply can meet with respect to demand. So whatever our demand will be there, so as I told in the my first session, as we require more and more energy because our power consumptions are increasing day by day, our devices are increasing day by day, so demand also are increasing day by day. So we have to work, we have to ensure that whatever the energy is available in future that will be utilized by the proper way or not. That means the demand will be satisfied or not. So there is a we have to ensure that energy supply can meet the demand and also we have to reduce the risk particularly for blackouts or energy shortages. So it should not happen. So also it helps to balancing the grid by integrating the renewable energy resources. That means we can balance the grid by applying of various renewable energy resources smoothly with traditional power plant. So traditional power plant we are going to deploy with smart power plant or smart grid. So all these are the possibility will be there when we are reducing the reliance on fossil fuels. As I already explained by predicting the availability of renewable energy, how much energy is available, how we have to generate with respect to availability and with respect to demand. These are the two factors are there. So energy providers has to work in this direction. They have to minimize particularly need to fall back on fossil fuels based on the power generation. So how much power is going to how much power is already available and how much power is already that going to utilize. So this is not help to reducing the greenhouse emissions, but also promote the use of cleaner and sustainable energy resources. That is the main important part. That means how we are going to work under the forecasting. So forecasting area will support energy traders and market operations. They are very important part because as we are promoting certain technology, the market people want to that means deploy this technology to the particular user point of view. So forecasting allow the energy traders to make, that means inform the decision about the buyers, how many buyers are there, how much energy is going to be sell. These are the more important part for the support of the market. So accurate predictions of energy generation is very important. Consumption also very important. That help in setting the prices, because how much energies are available and how much energy are going to supply to the users. That will be very important part, because based on that the price will vary. Okay, so price is increasing if the availability is more, and whatever the energy is available that is very less. So in that case the market people has to increase the price because of the consumption is going to be more. So related to the market people, they are setting the prices, enabling the efficient market operations and financial planning. So another factor, enhancing the decision making for energy policies. So that's why they have to provide certain decision making policies. So policies makers can use forecasting method. Forecasting method, whatever data is available, based on that they will provide forecasting data to particularly devise the strategies and policies that encourage the growth of renewable energy. That means whatever the energy is resources are available and whatever the energy generation already going on. These are the two factors are there. That means if number of appliances are increasing, number of power consumptions are increasing, in that factors the particular market people are having the requirement to generate more power. So they have to rely on more renewable energy resources. So demand and supply, this is the two factor we are going to decide. But how? By forecasting. So forecasting is our requirement. So that means we have to set certain regulations, we have to set certain whatever the development of renewable energy infrastructure is available, we have to improve it. So accurate forecasting, and also we have to aid the particular long-term planning. That means if you are not able to manage, that means we will reach to the crisis. Okay, so energy is already available less and consumption is very more. So that is the more important part. So sustainability goals we can reach once we'll employ this all parts. So enhance the decision making. So like that solar and particularly wind power forecasting. So we have these two energy resources which are readily available. So solar power forecasting, that means predict the amount of electricity that will generated by solar panels. So how governments are initiating solar panels, how they are going to provide that factors like sunlight intensity is available, cloud covers are there, geographic locations are there, seasons also there. So wind power forecasting, that may be predicted by amount of electricity that will be generated by the turbines, and it will be based on the factors. What are the factors are there? Wind speed is there, wind directions will be there, and turbulence will be there. So we can easily understand these are the two sources are available. Forecasting models generated, and continuously you have the data loggers. What data loggers are doing? The data will be generated through the different resources. So these are the two sources are there. Forecasting model will help how many energy has been generated, how many is required to generate. Based on the historical data, the energy will be predicted. That means energy demand is increasing, then more energy power sources need to be generated. More power need to be generated. If less power requirement will be there, they will generate whatever enough resources. So infrastructure will increase. Okay, so more photovoltaic source need to be increased, more turbines need to be increased if your demand is increasing. So this based on the demand, the forecasting algorithms are working and predicting and generating. So like energy management strategies also there that will be implemented, and based on that energy will be distributed to the particular area. That means the whatever the sources are there, power banks are there, battery banks are there, they are going to store. So this is the continuous systems working. So forecasting will be the one of the important part, but there are various challenges are there. That means high variability and uncertainty. As I said, solar energy, it depends on the climate conditions. So with respect to solar energy, solar power generation is highly variable due to the changing weather conditions. So weather is important factor for solar energy, such as cloud conditions or precipitation conditions or atmospheric particles. So intensity, whatever the sunlight will be there, that means also energy productions can fluctuate. So fluctuations are more when we talk about wind energy, speed of the wind will be there. That is the main important factor here over short distance or time period. So wind energy are working under different patterns. So wind patterns are mainly influenced by the geographical features or seasonable changes also. Here also weather condition also important part. Even diurnal cycles also. So these all the making challenges while predicting the wind energy generation accurately. And also one more factor, limited availability of high quality historical data. As I said in the practical session, I told you should have the data. Without data, you cannot work. So you should have more data. So with respect to data has been generated by various sources. So historical data is very critical for creating accurate forecasting model. If you have created model with only 1000 data, that means if 1 lakh data will come, that model won't work. That is the main problem with respect to prediction model. So we have to work on many reasons. There are maybe lack of long-term high resolution data or solar radiations or wind patterns. So this is the one of the limitation. This is the one of the issue. Reduce the accuracy of prediction. So accuracy will decrease or it is a hinder of development of robust forecasting. Robust means under circumstances model must work. It must be robust. So various circumstances that will not allow to the work to develop forecasting models. So that is the main hinder this side. Are also influence of weather or climate change that I already said. Weather pattern also may vary. That is also playing a very important role for energy forecasting. Sudden and unpredictable weather event just like storms are there, cyclones are there or heat waves are there. It will disturb the energy or energy productions also lead to a significant forecasting error. Another factor is there running advanced forecasting model. That means we need to work advanced forecasting model that will be based on the demand. That is a significant on computational resources. That means whatever the computational resources, hardware requirement will be there. So high performance computing infrastructure is very important. Like GPU based system or high end workstation, many things are required to process the large data set. Otherwise you cannot run the simulation in the faster way. You cannot solve the problem in faster and generate the timely forecast. So this can be resource intensive process, especially for region with limited technological infrastructure. If you have limited infrastructure, that will be the another limitation from our side. Now what is the role of AI ML in particularly forecasting? As I said, data will be generated and we are going to forecast. So neural network, already we discussed, will come under the supervised learning method. So neural network models or decision tree based classifier or convolution neural network, these are the architecture which are readily available. What is the process we are going to do? We are collecting data from various energy resources and we are providing the prediction model, we are generating the model, and also I said computational resources are very important. So these models mimic the human brain. That means we are going to design a machine. That machine will perform the task automated way. Okay, so same way what human are doing. So we are going to mimic the structure. That is the already neural network architecture will be there, and they are capturing the complex pattern in data. And what is the procedure we have? We have feature extraction. So before feature extraction, we are going to be a pre-process the data, pre-processing, cleaning of the data. If any missing data will be there, if any error will be there, noise data will be there, we have to improve it and make it suitable for further operation. After that, we have to extract the feature, which are important features, which are relevant feature, which are optimal feature, we have to identify by feature selection. After feature selections, we need to work on classification. Classification, who will do the classification? Neural network or decision tree classifier or Bayesian classifier or support vector machine. So they are particularly useful for time series forecasting. Time series forecasting in renewable energy, that means data is generating with respect to time. We can say temporal. So with respect to time, data is generating. So today morning data has generated. Today afternoon data has generated. So we have the data with respect to time, that is called time series data. So time series analysis will take place, and where the past patterns also will be available. Past data will be available that will help for predicting of future trend. That is the main role of machine learning. That is the main role of AI for prediction of future. So like tomorrow, what will be the temperature of Warangal will be there. Day after tomorrow, what will be the temperature of Warangal will be there. Day after tomorrow, what will be the temperature of Mumbai will be there. So various sensors are working continuously. They are collecting data every day and giving that data to the model, either ANN, either CNN, and model is predicting tomorrow there will be possibility of rain, 80% chances, 90% chances, 70% chances. So various prediction method will work in that case. So likewise, decision tree model, tree-like structure. That means parent will be there, then child will be there, sub-child will be there. One direction you can choose one decision, another direction, another decision. So various decision can be obtained in terms of decision tree classifier, that is based on the decision of input features. So features is one of the important parts. We have collected feature, we have selected feature, and we have feed feature to the classifier. Classifier will be able to provide the decision. So they are excellent for understanding for various factors affecting energy production. So what factors are affecting to energy productions? Weather is one of the factors, or different other factors are there. So that hinders we are going to avoid. So that is the main important part with respect to machine learning, that can handle both numerical data and categorical data. Numerical numbers data will be there. Categorical data means different attributes are there. So all attributes can be required to generate. Deep learning means we have 2 layer, 3 layer, 4 layer, we can say neural network. But more than 5 layers, 6 layers, 7 layers, 8 layers, 9 layers. So every layers are responsible, that means extracting of features. That is called feature learning. In convolution neural network, we have replaced the multiplication operation by convolution operation. So convolution means one matrix will be there, one kernel will be there. Kernel will just multiply this area. It will extract the feature of this area. Like this kernel will pass from left to right, top to bottom. That process is called sliding. Sliding process will take place, that feature will be extracted. And now various weights will arrive. During first operation, weight was W1, W2, W3, W4, W5, W6, W7, W9. 3 cross 3 kernel utilized. Now next iteration, new kernel will come. Next iteration, new kernel will come. Kernel will provide different weight matrix. And who is responsible to provide the weight matrix? Optimizer. So by optimizer, we are predicting different weights, and finally we are mapping the output with respect to predicted output. So you have exact output and you have predicted output. Based on that, you are mapping. So if your mapping will take place, error will become 0, loss will become 0. So our aim is, by multiple iteration, we have to reduce the loss, improve the accuracy. That will be possible when we laid multiple layers. And every layers, there are multiple computational nodes are there, processing units are there, and processing units are responsible to extract the features. So first layer, low level feature, then some more layers, medium level feature, and last layer, high level features. High level features, that is relevant to pattern, textures, but low level features that is relevant to color. What kind of color will be there? Blobs is there, edges will be there. So likewise, lines are there, multiple lines, multiple edges. All these are the low level features. So in terms of data, that is used for particularly image recognition. Image recognition means we are going to recognize the particular area, and area will be identified. So suppose example, one cat is there in a picture. So this area cat will be there, remaining area is background. So this area more dominant features will come. That feature will responsible to recognize cat as a cat with respect to feature of the cat, but replace the cat as a dog, feature will change. So the machine will recognize that is dog, that is not a cat. Understand? So that is recognition will take place by convolution neural network. So CNN can be adapted forecasting by identify the spatial pattern. Spatial pattern, that means directly values of weather data or cloud movement. That cloud movement and weather data which are affecting the energy, either wind energy, either solar energy. So autoencoder means various method we are using. The autoencoder is one method. We are just creating architecture like an encoder and replacing the architecture like a decoder. So autoencoder used for dimension reduction. So autoencoder used for dimension reduction, feature reductions, and they can extract the essential features from the large data set, and we can improve the efficiency by using of the autoencoder. And other deep learning model also will work. So like LSTM will be there, long short term memory, or like various VG60, V19, ResNet 50. These are the well-known popular models people are using, specific for classification or detections or identify the particular area or pattern. So time series forecasting model for solar and wind power. So this is the time series data. That means purely random, no recognition in pattern. But see, this is the curvilinear trends. Quadratic will be there or exponential will be there. This is the linear will be there. Linear trends will be there. This is the seasonal patterns. Time, with respect to time, it was like that, seasonal pattern. This is the seasonal pattern plus linearly growth. So with respect to time, what is the nature of data is going to change. What is the nature of data is going to change. That is the main important factor for time series data. Time series data refer to the data points collected or recorded at specific time interval. Like morning 5 o'clock, that what is the energy consumption was there at Warangal. Morning 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock night, midnight 2 o'clock. It was very less. People were sleeping. So almost all power devices was off. So power consumption was very minimum. But afternoon 12 o'clock, afternoon 2 o'clock, more power consumption would be there. 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, this is the main peak time where we are, or people are making foods or doing washing clothes and many things. So till 4 o'clock, again reduction will take place. So 4 to 7, again reduction will be there. Now 7 to 9 o'clock, that means more energy will be utilized. More power consumption would be there. So like an example of, you are going to the road and on the road traffic lights are there. So what is the traffic light? Morning 4 to 6, very less. 6 to 8, moderate. 8 to 12, maximum. Then 12 to 2 and 3, also moderate. Then 3 to 6, maximum. Then 6 to 8, again moderate. And 8 to morning 4 is a minimum. So it's a time interval, consumption is low. That is considered as a data points and with respect to time duration. So it will help for prediction of tomorrow is Saturday. So Saturday and Sunday is a weekend. So in Hyderabad, if we'll go to certain place, like from Begumpet to Secunderabad, traffic is very, very difficult traffic. From morning 8 to evening 8. But if we'll go for Secunderabad to Uppal, different pattern. But Saturday and Sunday will change. The person want to visit railway station, he has to take certain time limit. How much time he will reach there. So if he will write 9 o'clock, he will take only half an hour. But if he will be there at morning 10 o'clock, he will take half an hour, 45 minutes. Half an hour, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Like the same example in Bangalore also. People are starting morning 7 o'clock, but they are reaching office 9:30. When they are starting their office 9 o'clock, but they are reaching 10. 8 they are starting, 9:59. So morning time they require 2.5 hours. Evening time require 1.5 hours. Pattern is like that. So that pattern is called time series pattern. For that case, what is the use? You can manage your traffic lights controller. That means what is the timing requirement will be there. You have seen many times 60 seconds is there, 45 seconds are there, 1 minute also there, 1.5 minutes also will be there. Why it is changing? Automated changing. You are not changing, no one is changing. There no traffic pattern. That's why the machine is able to manage how long people will wait on the on the signal. So signal weight and signal weight in Warangal, two signals are there, but if you will go to Bangalore, if you will go to Mumbai, if you will go to Delhi, you herself can realize how much traffic will be there. You believe in Delhi, what is the traffic will be there? Would you believe in New York, what is the traffic condition will be there? So if energy requirement will be there, their energy also required. So all traffic lights are working on solar. You know? So all traffic lights are working, all street lights are working on solar energy. That's why I'm talking about how time prediction is very important. So time predictions, because the sequence of data points collected, recorded by specific time interval, and these data points are indexed in a chronological order, meaning each data point associated with particular time stamp. Data has collected with this time. So temporal is meaning of temporal means time interval. Temporal means time interval. Spatial means only the data point only. There is no time details will be there. So that is the distinguish the time series data from other type of data. So we have time series data. We are going to utilize. So what are the key trends are there in time series? Long term movement or direction of data in a extended period. That trend can be upward, trend can be downward, or even flat. So like a solar energy forecasting. You want to do the solar energy forecasting in a Warangal in the month of April, or in a Warangal in the month of November, or in the month of September, in the month of August, in the month of July. And the same I have to manage same forecasting in a month of January in a Delhi, or in a Mumbai, or in a Chennai. That will be different. Nature of weather is different all three places. So that upward trend might indicate solar energy production due to the installation of new solar panels over time. And also solar panels initially, and after 10 years, after 5 years, the aging impact will be there. So how much energy will be generated. So seasonality definition, regular pattern or cycle that repeat a fixed interval, such as daily, monthly, yearly. So like importance, seasonality is crucial for renewable energy system. As I said, solar and wind energy as a energy production can vary with respect to season, with respect to weather. So like a example, solar energy productions trained to be higher in summer month due to the longer daylight hours. So like example, if you see in a month of June, I will talk to timing of the sunset in a city of London in United Kingdom. So morning 4 o'clock sunrise is there, and evening 10:30 sunset is there. And same case in a month of November, in a month of December, same London city, the timing of sunrise is 8:30 and the sunset is there 30:30 or 4 o'clock. Reduced time, sunrise and sunset, the condition will change. And weather also, that is the rainfall is there or snow will be there. So in that condition, how they will manage solar energy? It's not managed. So they can rely solar energy in the month of, that means May, June, July, August in a city of London. After that, October, November, December, January, they cannot rely. They cannot work. 100% solar energy will not be generated. So like that, these are certain kind of factors are there that will be depend on weather. So that we have to see that, example, solar energy production will be higher in summer and will be the very lower in winter. Or so wind energy also may exhibit the seasonal pattern with the higher production certain month due to the whatever the wind patterns are there. That means prevailing the wind pattern. That is the key components of time series data. So another factor is trend, second factor season, third factor is stationary. So time series consider stationary. If stationary property, that means whatever the statistical calculations are there. What is the statistical calculation? That means time series data will provide mean, variance or remain constant over time. That means these two value will be constant over time. So stationary very important part because we may forecasting model will be generated. They assume that data is stationary. That means mean and variance is constant. If you compute that value, you may say that this is the data is stationary. So non-stationary data, it lead to inaccurate forecasting. If you are having non-stationary data, that means mean and variance is variable, you cannot predict, you cannot forecast. Your system will fail, your model will fail. So transforming non-stationary data to stationary is a necessary action for reliable forecasting. And if wind energy forecasting, if average wind speed changes over time because of the long-term climate shift, then data may need to be transformed to achieve stationary. So like that we will see 2014, what is the 2033, 2016 487, 540. So it's a previous year capacity and annual conditions will be there. So 591, that is a gigawatts total calculation by the this way, solar energy, by the wind energy. So this is another aspects for understanding of time series data. So we may just compare what is forecasting, what is predictions. So forecasting basically involves the predictions of future data. You want to predict future what will happen. That means tomorrow what will be the weather will be there. Type your Google and just ask what will be the temperature of tomorrow. Google will tell you forecasting of 5 days or 1 week. And you can see that tomorrow what will be the temperature will be there. So forecasting involves the prediction of future data based on historical data, primarily focus in temporal data. Temporal, I said, time interval data, and identify the pattern or trend over the time. And in predictions, prediction involves modeling, that means between input and output. One is independent, one is dependent. That is done by the machine learning. That is prediction. So exactly predictions is estimate a future unknown value, but it does not necessarily rely on temporal data. It does not worry on time data. So in machine learning, we are not worrying about time, just we are predicting. Apple is an apple, banana is a banana. We have just predicted. We did not consider anyway in the temporal case. Temporal condition means time interval. Data with time, data with time, data with time, data with time. That is future forecast. Prediction and forecasting both are the same aspect for machine learning, but one case spatial data, one case temporal. So here commonly used time series analysis, where historical data observations used to estimate the future value. This is especially relevant for energy system. Especially this forecasting is required for energy system, and such as predicting solar and wind power generation. Forecasting amount of the solar energy will be produced tomorrow based on the past solar radiation data. So in a month of March 1st, whatever data will be generated will be helpful for generation of April. It will be helpful for generation of May also. That is the main important. The radiation and weather condition will be predicted for forecasting. But in definition of prediction, I said various fields like a regression analysis. We discuss machine learning or classification task like a disease classification, yes and no. Disease classification does not require when you have taken your X-ray, morning, evening, afternoon, time is not matter. Any time you will give your X-ray, it does not require to only prediction is important. One is dependent variable, one is independent variable. So predicting energy output of solar panel based on the factor like panel orientation, tilt, angle, geographic location, that we can predict. That means you have designed a solar panel, you can predict how long it will work. The reliability you can manage. That means 10 years it will work, 5 years it will work, and there is a certain parameter will be there. That is not depend on time. Understand? So in these two aspects we can work for forecasting versus prediction. So forecasting will do for energy system and prediction will do for what is the solar panel condition will be there. What is the factor, panel orientation, panel tilt angle, panel geographic location, all these factors will responsible for prediction as well as forecasting. Energy systems are important. So autoregressive model, that means AR model is a type of statistical model that is used for analyzing the forecasting of time series data. We are using this model predicting the current value of the time series based data with respect to past value. That means whatever the autoregressive model will be there, indicate that time is a linear combination of past value. Time is very important. This is the case. Phi t x t time. So this is the current value of time. This is the constant value. This is the parameter of the model. This is the past value. We are computing the past value, and this is the error term. We are computing the error. So this is the systems will be there. Energy management strategy, generated power, and that predicting what is the error will be there. So this is the autoregressive model we are using. So autoregressive model, generated power and energy management strategies will be there. Just dispatch the strategies, and here forecasting model will help, or data will be generated, how much will be generated. We have to predict. So tomorrow what data will be generated, it is already developed here. The model will tell tomorrow 20 kilowatt is required. Day after tomorrow 25 kilowatt is required. So that method will be given, then we have to generate the power. So energy need to be increased here. Suppose or decrease will be here. So likewise that generated power will be stored here and will be optimized here. Strategy will be and distributed by grid. Grid will distribute. So this procedure will take place. If not having proper generation, we have to provide the strategies here. Dispatch the strategies, based on that this will be utilized. So data will be collected and given to the forecasting, that is on computer. There are multiple methods are there. They are going to provide the forecasting, and generation will take place based on the forecasting model also. So autoregressive model will be there. Moving average model will be there. That moving average model also time series forecasting that use past value to predict the future value. So here model indicate that current value linear combination of past value. That means how the data will be generated with respect to this times. So this is a time series data, and there is a mathematically model will be developed. Now autoregressive combined with the moving average, both will combine, both will be added. See that equation. There is the ARMA model. So autoregressive model and this moving average model, that is analysis for time series forecasting model, that combine the concept of both AR and MA model. And AR-MA model is used to describe the stationary. Stationary means, as I said, constant mean and average, constant mean and variance. That is the time series data for both dependency between current value and past value. Then dependency between current value and past error term. In the one case error term was there, one case value was there. So you can say AR part, dependency between current value and past error terms, that is MA part, and both has combined. So both advantage has been utilized. One side error will be optimized, one side value will be optimized, both can be added. So example, forecasting wind speed using this. For that what we have to do, we have hourly wind speed data from the past 2 months, 7-20 hours. We want to forecast the wind speed for next 24 hours. What will be the wind speed we need to keep? That is a calculation mathematically, and this will write a program, and this program will run, and by that way multiple times we can utilize this program. Anytime we can utilize this program. So which means we'll consider the past 2 value AR, we'll consider the past 2 error term also MA, and forecasting. So first thing we have to do, data preparation. So gather the hourly data, speed data for past month, ensure that data must be stationary. Stationary means the constant mean and variance. So it not apply the transformation like differencing to achieve the stationary. Model need to fit. So we have to provide 2 equations. So with respect to equation, model need to fit model with the historical wind speed data. So old data will be utilized. Estimate, these are the parameter will be there for AR or MA part, and then forecasting use this fitted model, which model already fitted, to predict the wind speed of upcoming next 24 hours. We have taken old historical data and computed, fitted, and finally forecasted. So tomorrow that data will be required to generate that much. That is the main methodology that we have applied for forecasting. So this is the calculation. This is the calculations. This is the where the value This is the, assume we have following data from last 5 hours. This data has computed. Current or xt is what we want to predict. That means current or what is the value would be there. So by that way, this is the formula, these are the terminology, and this is the data. That is forecasting wind speed. So like, assume we have estimated this parameter. Now this parameter, using this ERMA model, we have computed xt 5.3 plus error. This is we have calculation. So using ERMA model, we found the value and we have forecasting this value. Now another auto-regressive integrated moving average, IMA. Another method has been developed. These all methods we have studied in terms of math. Okay, so mathematically we have studied, but that math will be utilized for analytically and for a prediction or forecasting in terms of time series data analysis. So we can see that model, particularly extension of ERMA model. So this handle the non-stationary. Suppose no stationary data came in picture, what we will do? So we have to handle it. So again we have provided one math that is called additional step differencing. We will make the data stationary. If the data is arrived non-stationary, we will make them stationary by using of this math. So ARMA model separate the difference, where the number of log observation, degree or number of logs. So this equation has changed. These are the where the parameter will be there. That is a parameter, the parameter of AR part, parameter MA part. D is degree of difference, because data is non-stationary, convert into stationary by this way. This epsilon is a error term at particular time. Now we have to just see that. Let's consider example. We have daily solar energy production data. Exhibit a clean upward trend over time. Make it non-stationary. We'll have this model to forecast future solar energy production. So here D equal to 1 indicate that we'll perform cost differential to make data stationary. Now first thing, data preparation. Collect data solar energy or data from the past year and perform the differencing, remove the trend and achieve stationary. So whatever the trend was there, remove it, make it data stationary. Model fitting. Model fitting by ERMA model with I has been added. Estimate the parameter phi1, phi2 for AR, theta1, theta2 from MA and constant C. So like that, forecasting will be, the model will fitted by these equations, and we have to predict the solar energy of for next 1 month. That will be predicted. So formula will be taken care, all method will be taken care. So seasonal decomposition, that means overall seasonal decomposition, one of the important part. So what is the purpose? Seasonal decomposition involve breakdown of a time series data. So data will be breakdown in terms of 3 main component: trend, seasonality and residual. Residual means noise. So noise also one more enemy of data, of signal or any component. So this process help us to understand the underlying pattern and making the more accurate forecast. If we want to improve the more accurate forecast, that means trend long-term progression of time series data, or seasonality is a regular and repeating pattern within the series. And third, residual. Residual means randomly noise will be. So nature of the noise is random. So random noise or irregular fluctuation that cannot attribute to trend or seasonality. Relevance for solar and wind power data. What is the solar data? What is the wind power data will be there? So solar energy production exhibit the seasonality with higher output during summer months and lower output during winter months due to the varying daylight hours. Similarly, wind power energy can show the seasonal pattern based on the prevailing wind conditions. So if it will vary with different season or different climatic conditions. So these are the seasonal decomposition part. So we have see the additive and multiplicative decomposition. So that is the formula TC plus ST plus RT. So in this additive model, time series data YT is a sum of product, trend, season and residual. This model suitable when seasonal variations are there, roughly constant in magnitude. And multiplicative model, that is multiply all three. So in multiplication model, time series data is product of trend, product of season, product of residual. And this model appropriate when season variation change proportionally within the trend only. So within the This conditions, now application of energy data. So additive means it is suitable wind power data where seasonal variation remain stable. Season is stable over the time. But multiplicative means applied for when season variation will be there for energy production and depending on the level of trade, like increasing the variability with higher overall energy output. That is, these are the two applications are there for energy data. Now practical application. So seasonal decomposition applied for solar power data. So data collection, gather the daily hour data with respect to solar energy production for 1 year. We have to decompose. So decomposition will take place with respect to this classification decomposition to break down the data into three different components: trend, seasonal and residual. And we have to interpret trend, seasonal and residual. Trend component that will show the overall upward and downward movement in solar energy production, and seasonal component that is reveals that recurring pattern. Whatever the pattern will be there, like increased production during summer or decrease the pattern during winter, that pattern will be there. That is considered as a seasonal component. And the residual component is a fluctuation. That is the capture random fluctuation or irregularities that cannot be explained either by trend or either by season. That we cannot predict by these two components. So we have this is the time, this is the original, and this is the stochastic. So we can visualize what is the trend will be there. So we'll see now how machine learning will work with respect to time series forecasting. So machine learning technique provide the advanced tools basically for analyzing the forecasting time series data, and they can capture the complex non-linear relationship and patterns. So whatever the patterns we have seen with respect to season, trend and residual, that traditional statistical methods that may miss. So traditionally method that means we have seen. So relevance, ML is particularly relevant for predicting energy productions from available resources like wind, like solar or any other resources. So accurate forecasting enable the better grid management, resource allocations and decision making. So we may get the decision based on the machine learning. So what are the key technology will be utilized? Machine learning technique used for time series forecasting regular that data. It include regression model, support vector machine, decision tree classifier, neural network or combined all model. That is called ensemble. So we have seen various methods, that is linear regression model. That model, the relationship between dependent variable and one mode independent. So variable as a linear regression suitable for linearly same time series data will be there. If your data is like that, so you are able to separate them. So we have, this is one variable, this is another variable. So one variable, that is, this is dependent, this is independent. So like that, this variable will be continuous. This output will be continuous. But if this output will be discrete, that means yes and no, that is called classification. So regression, it would be linearly regressions or polynomial regressions or logistic regression. So we have multiple linear regression methods. So this will be suitable for simply if you have linear side data. No linear, that means capture the complex relationship between your variables. So you have one variable. So like techniques, polynomial regression, that is the under this category. Example, predicting solar power generation based on historical data, factor like a weather condition, temperature, humidity, cloud cover. Like example, you have taken data from temperature, cloud, and another factor is like humidity. So these are the parameters are responsible to manage forecasting of tomorrow what will be temperature will be there. So you can understand today temperature is 30 degree, humidity is 120 like that. Then you are going to predict. So this is the prediction. Likewise you have collected for morning to evening data, and this data will be utilized for prediction of tomorrow what will be the temperature, what will be the wind power will be. So likewise we have the regression model. So prediction of this advantage is very easy to implement, very easy to interpret, and computational efficiency. So limitation may not capture the complex on non-linear pattern. So like that we'll see the data is varying like that. That is the time series data. We can solve by the regression or SVM. As SVM I said, if you know the SVM, we are having a condition, data will be there. We'll draw the hyperplane. And we have drawn two more hyperplane, positive or negative. So we have two kind of data. This is the circle. This is rectangle. So this distance must be maximized. So like that you will see here, this is the maximum margin. Data, this is support vectors, which will touch to this line, support vector. So it's optimal hyperplane. This is positive hyperplane, this is negative, and we have separated them. So it is effective for non-linear data, robust to overfitting, and can handle high dimension space. If you have multiple dimension, what you will do? Multiple line will be drawn. 4 category, 5 category. So multi-class problem also can be solved. So SVM used for a optimal hyperplane, separate the different pattern in time series data. SVM extend S to regression task. So whatever regression task we have done, it is extended with respect to regression analysis or classification analysis. And computationally intensive, require careful training of tuning of the hyperparameter. Like random forest and gradient boosting technique. These also different techniques are there. So random forest is an ensemble of multiple decision tree classes. What do you mean by ensemble? Multiple techniques. So 5 classifier applied in a parallel manner. So we have multiple decision trees. So this decision will take a perfect output, this decision will take the perfect output. So it's an ensemble of multiple decision tree. Improve the accuracy by averaging of individual tree. Average of first tree, second tree, third tree, complete average. So it reduces the overfitting problem and enhance the robustness. And by using of gradient boost. So this is another technique, this is an iterative technique. It will build the ensemble of peak model. Sometimes one model has given accuracy 60%, one model given 98%. It's a strong model, weak model. We want to improve the efficiency of peak model. So ensemble of weak model, usually decision tree, focusing on correcting the error made by previous model. So we are going to correct which model has faced earlier model. We have to go to correct that. So example, random forest and this technique forecast wind and solar power productions into account various influencing factors like weather condition, geographical location, and historical trend. So if you want to install the wind power at Warangal, not possible. So wind power, there are certain locations are there, they are installed. In India, there are many locations where wind power generation plants are there. But everywhere you cannot install. You have to identify, like you are finding the water. You want to do the groundwater. So you have to check whether water will come or not. At what feet water will be there. Everywhere you cannot find the water. Okay, everywhere you cannot create the borewell and other things. It's not possible. So likewise, solar energy, certain factors are there. Wind energy, certain factors are there. Certain locations are there. Geographical location is one of the important factors. So like that, high accuracy, handle complex interaction, robust to overfitting, limitation, computationally intense. You want more computational calculations. Require careful tuning of hyperparameter and very less interpretation with respect to simple. So So this is the actual power versus predicted power mapping by generated by this model. Actual what generated, what is the predicted one. You can see by rendering. So this is actual. This is predicted. So what is that? 20% lag. So actual was 90 kilowatts suppose, generated 70. So we can modify. Now comparison, so we have work on performance parameters. You all of know, we have discussed in the first sessions, precision, recall, mean average error, mean absolute error, root mean square error, R square error. These are the calculations, and we have to optimize these parameters. Once you optimize, so you are a researcher, if you are writing a paper on wind energy, solar energy data, you have to develop the model. So what you will do? First you will collect the data. Data already are readily available. You have to clean the data by pre-processing. You have to identify the features, feature extraction, feature selection, and modeling of the classifier. You can use any model. Then if model has trained, then you will find out the classification report. Classification report will tell you what are the performance measures you have calculated. So that is the more important part. So once model given this error less, that means your model has reached correct output. If mean absolute error is very just high, that means you cannot work for that model. You have to change the model or you have to tune the hyperparameter. So measure the average magnitude of error between predicted and actual value. Provide the measure of average magnitude error giving higher weight of larger error, or R square error. Tell the proportion of variance in dependent variable that is predicted from the independent. And precision, accessing how well the model is capturing the variability of data. Accuracy, evaluating the precision of different model, predicting energy productions for wind and solar sources. Computational efficiency, we are comparing the computational resources that is required by different models to process the large data set, and particularly for generating the forecast. So introducing of deep learning. Now we have added deep learning, convolution layer, pooling layer, convolution layer, pooling layer, convolution layer, pooling layer. Finally flatten the data, that means fully connected neural network. All node will be single node. This fully connected node multi-layer perceptron will be utilized for classification. These are the model. Here we will apply the activation function related to softmax or sigmoid. They are responsible to compute the probability. So probability of this will be high, classified. Probability of this will be less, not classified. Like that, multi-class problem that can be solved. So here time series data given to convolution layer, multiple layers are there, multiple filters are responsible to extract the feature. This approach is called feature learning. Like tomorrow new data came in picture, so no need to change the model. Just fix it this bridge, change this one. Day after tomorrow new data came in picture. Don't change model. Data same, low level, medium level will be same. Nature of the feature will be same. Feature learning means last layer need to be modeled. Train it. So you need not require to train entire model. That is called transfer learning. Transfer the weight from yesterday model to now, today also. That weight can be transferred. Like you have learned apple from childhood, you still did not forget. You know, till your age, your last age, you will be remember apple as a apple. Any kind of thing you forget? No, not possible. That is not there in memory. That you have already learned. So whatever the feature has learned by the model, it will not go. That weight already saved. So you can retrieve that weight for the new model. That is transfer learning we are using in deep learning. Transfer learning means you need not require to train entire like learning. Just only 20 layers are there, 18 layers just trained, already inherit, and last 2 layers going to train. So trainable parameter will be very less. Non-trainable parameter will be very high. So that is the way will be there. So how we can introduce the deep learning? Deep learning is a subset of machine learning, has significant advancement in field of time series forecasting using traditional methods. So here deep learning model can automatically learn complex patterns and relationship data without manual feature learning, without handcrafted feature learning. Just every time feature extraction will be the under the feature. Benefit of feature learning, automated feature learning and handling no linear relationship also. These are the benefits of deep learning. And capturing long-term dependency and scalability and robustness to the noise. So the model will become more robust. It can sustain the attacks, it can sustain the noise. All these are the main benefits of the deep learning. So like LSTM1 architecture will be there. It's a recurrent neural network. We are using that. In that model, memory cell is there, input and forget gates and output gates will be there, predicting the solar and wind power generation. So we want to predict how we are doing outcome, accurate forecasting of production, aiding the grid management and resource allocation. Data historical solar radiation, weather data collected and model LSTM for predicting of future solar energy production. So this is the architecture available, we can use it. With respect to memory cell, store the information over a long period. That memory part will be added here and input control the new information for entering into the memory and forget gate decide the information to discard which need to be discarded. Output gate that will be determine the output based on the memory cell and so CNN also part of convolution neural network. The application to solve the problem of time series data, merit and forecasting of wind energy or solar energy, take the data, create the model, provide the outcome. Improve the accuracy with forecasting, enable the better operating plan. So comparison with LSTM and this strength capture the long-term dependency, sequential pattern in data, use cases suitable for time series data with long-term dependency. CNN excellent for feature extraction. So CNN is very important for feature extraction and handling spatial hierarchies and use cases effective for time series data with spatial dependency and patterns. Choosing the right model, LSTM best for where past information over a long period is very crucial. And CNN when data is local pattern or spatial hierarchies are there, at that time you can use it. Okay. So I'll stop here, then we continue the other part after 5 minutes break.